Chris Griffin to the stage. And the last candidate to join us on stage this evening is Mr. Mike Malenga. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a quick breakdown of the debate and what it's going to look like so you guys know what's going on. The candidates are going to do brief introductions, then we're going to go into a Q&A period. Candidates have 1 minute to respond to each question and a 30-second rebuttal period if your name or a project that they directly led has been invoked. They're going to lead us out with closing remarks, and we'll move on from there. If they would like a rebuttal period, they have to inform moderator Susan, and it's at his discretion whether or not a rebuttal period will be allowed. Please remember that all three of these candidates up on the stage have worked really hard, so be really respectful. They all deserve our respect. So cheer, yes, but be respectful of the other candidates too, okay? And let's get going with a great debate, all right?
Well, good evening, everybody. Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right, let's make sure. Try number 2, okay? So again, my name is Susan. I'm the director for the Marshall Student Center. That's my 4th year doing the position at USF. My 17th year as a higher education professional, and I can genuinely say this is one of my favorite parts of the day. This time of year, we get to really see students enacting and acting out what their personal values are. So you're giving back to a community that has brought you the USF, made you a goal, and you're working on your education. And so I see this sometimes as a peak moment. And I'm honored to be part of this process and thankful that each of you has taken the leadership challenge, so to speak, to step up and to represent your institution and to really give back to the community. So I really do appreciate that. In terms of the audience, what you're getting ready to do is not easy. The public speaking is difficult, and sometimes we don't do this as a routine part of our daily life. So I'm proud of you for doing that as well. My style is pretty conversational and laid back, and so if you do get nervous, just look at me and the rest of them, okay? And you'll hear their applause. And if you have any clarification along the way, if I need to slow down along the way, that's what I'm here to do. So I want to be understood. And think of this as your opportunity to plant your personal values into their skulls so that when they go and vote, they'll know where these are. Okay? All right. So, again, I've got a series of questions. These were generated by some polling that we did at the street team. And so, students have participated in creating all these questions. I'm not very good at reading, so I'll probably have to go off script a little bit and ask for clarification points, but we'll make sure that we balance it out. We're going to start off and give you a minute each, 2 minutes each, because I was just immediately corrected by my trusty person. So 2 minutes each, and describe your platform. And so a lot of people may not know everything, and sometimes it's easy to miss a photo or a flyer. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk a little bit about the platforms, and then we'll continue on. So why don't we start with you?
Hello everyone, my name is Chris, and I'm running for student body president with Alec Wood. So over the past couple of years, I spent a lot of time developing my leadership abilities through working in orientation, new student connections, the Center for Leadership and Civic Engagement, and the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life. Throughout those different experiences, I've been able to get a holistic view of what our students want, a holistic view of the student body. And that's why I'm running for student body president. Because I feel like my experiences outside of student government and inside of student government have prepared me to take on the biggest leadership position on this campus. So a little bit about our platform. This year, Alec and I decided that our platform was going to be, let's make a pact. Because that's what we want to do. We want to make a pact with all of our students. We think it's important that our students know that what we're making is a pact. A pact is a promise. So when you are voting for us, you're voting for this pact. We're making a promise with you. What you see on our papers is what you will get. You will not have any wish-washy. That's what you're going to get. So Let's explain what the PACT is. The PACT stands for Parking, Academics, Community, and Education. So we know that those are 4 key areas where our student body want change. Parking is an issue on campus, and we all know that. Academics can always be improved, because that's why we're all here. Our community engagement is not good enough. We are not involved everywhere in the community. And finally, our tradition. This is our 60th year, and we need to make this year good for USF. So with that, I'm excited that you all came. I'm excited to explain my platform further to you, and I'm excited to make a pact.
Thank you, Chris, for getting us started this evening. And Nicole, would you like to go next?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming here. My name is Nicole Hudson. I am running for president. The person running for vice president with me is named Amanda Hill. I am a physics and math double major, and I'm minoring in philosophy and astronomy. I am currently president of the USF Math Club, and I really like solving hard problems, and that's why I'm here. Also, as not a member of the student government currently, I feel that I am a candidate who best represents the average student. So a little bit about our platform. We intend to improve and promote campus culture. So just a sense of connectedness between all of the students. I know that a lot of us go around feeling like there's the medical district, there's the STEM area, and we really just need to all come together. And also, we are focused on academics. I mean, I think that's why we're all paying so much, right? We could go join clubs anywhere, but we're really here to get a good education, and we think that's important. Another large part of our platform is fighting corruption, promoting transparency, and making something that we consider is SG-SPAN, right? Like C-SPAN. Everybody can see what's going on in student government all the time. Perhaps petitions that students get signed so that students' wants and wishes can actually come true in the school's legislation. Also, of course, something on everybody's mind is the parking problem, and so we intend to provide some affordable and feasible solutions to the parking problem. And that's about all I've got for right now. Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Susan. And good evening, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you to the other 2 candidates for coming out tonight. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Mike Langa. I am a graduate student in the Master of Accountancy program here at USF. I am currently your student body vice president. But substantially more important than either of those 2 things is I am a proud USF Bull. I love this school as much as anybody, and I am very passionate about making it the best it can possibly be. And that's exactly why I'm running to be your student body president. Because over the last years that I've spent in office with my good friend and our president, Andy, we've seen the type of impact that we as students can have when we have a clear voice and clear goals on what it is that we want to do for the student body. When Andy and I set out to make our platform last year, we went out with an ambitious but realistic set of ideas that we knew would make the experience better here at USF. I remember vividly being told ideas such as reading days couldn't be done because it was too far out there, it was too ambitious, student government doesn't make the schedule. But I knew that with the help of Andy and our team around us, we would be able to build the relationships necessary to impact this school, not just for us, but for generations of further goals. And that's exactly the mentality that Taylor and I have taken when forming our platform this year. We looked to create goals that we knew were ambitious, but could be attained within the next year. And the one I want to share with you right now that I'm most passionate about is expanding mental health resources on campus. For me, I don't think we're doing a good enough job opening up the resources we need to our students. Personally speaking, I've had friends of mine wait 2 and 3 weeks just to do something simple like speak to a counselor when they need some help. I think we all know that college can be a stressful time and a time where having somebody to talk to can make all the difference in the world when it comes to your experience. Taylor and I want to do a great job of advocating for every student to make sure they have the resources they need to be healthy and well here on campus. And that's one of the many things we hope to accomplish over the course of this next year. So again, thank you guys so much for coming out. I'm looking forward to talking about all of our ideas, and I'm really looking forward to discussing some of the issues that we as a student body are currently facing.
All right, thank you, candidates. So now we have the series of questions, and I'm going to try and do my best to rotate who gets to go first, as we kind of try and be fair to everything. So, Nicole, you're up on this first question. Ready? If you are elected, what will be the first priority of your administration?
So, one of the first priorities of my administration is going to be to decrease my own salary. I recently discovered that USF's student government president actually makes more than most student government presidents in the state of Florida. And I don't think that's fair to all of the students who are paying a lot of money in tuition and aren't really getting that part of it back. Another thing that I really want to implement is something about truthful campaigning. I know I was reading through Title VII, the rules pertaining to campaigning, and what I realized is that campaigning candidates are required to be truthful to student government, but there are no clauses about them being truthful to the students, and I find that really bothersome, so I'd like to visit.
Susan, would you repeat it?
Sure, I'll do my best. If you are elected, what will be the first priority of your administration?
Thank you. So they asked this question last night, and my running mate mentioned a really good point. Taylor talked about our focus on sustainability. Now, one of the very first things we're going to do is sit down and create a new position, a student sustainability officer. And that's something we're going to do before we even get to office. But as soon as we get to office, we're going to focus on a number of things. But to me, the first thing is working with the administration to make sure that they understand our priority is wellness on campus. And it's not just about a new wellness facility we want to advocate for, although that's certainly a big part of making sure that our students have access to the resources they need. I'm also talking about making sure our students feel safe on campus and that they feel as though they can have a great experience being safe and well here. And that's things like body cameras for police officers. If it works for the city of Tampa and other cities across the country, why can't we bring it here to USF where we already have a great police department that we can count on? Why not make that extra step to take the initiative and avoid any future problems in this university?
So for our first initiative, after we get all of our staff hired, we really want to focus on hitting the ground running for when the students come back to the school and are ready to experience all of the great things that we have. So the first thing that I think we really need to work on is that ticket center that we want to have. So our ticket center is going to provide discounted tickets to all of our students to any major attractions that are happening in the area. So any theme parks, any ticketed shows, any events that are in the area, because we know a lot of our students are going to those events over the summer. So that's the first thing that we want to do. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we have those shuttles ready to come to and from the airport as soon as our students are ready to come back on campus. So those are the first two things we want to get done.
So Mike, how do you plan to support students who feel that SG is not a reflection of their current needs and beliefs? And I'll give a little context. I think I've had this similar concern every year I've been in higher education for the last 16, 17 years. So I don't think there's a magic bullet, but I hear that concern constantly. So what will you do again to maybe be more responsive to student life?
That is an excellent question, and I honestly believe that that's one of the biggest challenges that we're facing moving forward. I know you were in attendance, as well as some of the others in the room, when the Black Student Union a few weeks back had a town hall regarding just this, making sure that students on campus feel as though they are being represented. Because oftentimes, I don't think it's that we don't have solutions to problems, or that we don't want to solve problems. It's that we don't even know the problems are existing because we don't understand them personally. And Taylor and I have a clear vision on how we're going to handle this. We want to create a student government diversity council, something that other schools in the state already have, and there's no reason we shouldn't. We want to take leaders from across campus, of different ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, different sexual orientations, and make sure that we're getting a broad perspective of students to tell us about the problems that they're facing and that they see in their day-to-day life here on campus. Because once we know about those problems, we can begin to adequately address them and to do a much better job of making sure that every single student feels represented by their student government.
Same question?
Same question.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing there is that the student body president can't do it alone. He's surrounded by a team. And our team needs to be a diverse group of students. If you take a look out into this audience, you can see all the people wearing sandals. When you look around at them, you don't see a stereotypical person. They're not a cookie cutter people. They are all different, and they all have different experiences that they bring. These are the people that I surround myself with. And they can tell me the different things that are happening. That's how I developed my platform, because I listen to them. And that's the most important thing. that we're hiring a diverse group of students who are interested in different things, who want to see different things from student government, and who are there to listen to all of our students. Furthermore, we need to be attending everything. There's no just attending student government events. We really need to be at all events that are happening on campus, because if we're not there for the students, how are the students going to be there for us?
Nicole, you're up.
All right, so I don't know if you guys are aware, but the American government has this website. The URL, I believe, is petitions.whitehouse.gov. And at this website, you can create a petition and then sign a petition, and then with enough signatures, the president has to address this petition. And I see no reason why the USF student government shouldn't have the same thing, petitions.sg.usf.edu. And we can minimize the amount of bureaucratic paperwork that the average student who wants to sign these petitions would have to deal with by, just like any other part of the website, signing in with your NetID, reviewing the petition or creating one, and then pressing a button, and there you go. And then after a certain number, which can be determined based on some percentage of the population of students here at USF, have signed the petition, then student government will have to address it. We'll have to do something about it.
That's also on my platform. Never rebuttal for that. It's publicly on my platform. Thank you. I think that's an excellent point. That is a fantastic idea. It's on the Killer platform for a reason, because we need that to make sure we are responsive to every student on this campus. 2 of the 3 tickets up here are fully in favor of this idea. Unfortunately, one believes that this would not open up access to students. One believes that this does not allow students to actually voice their concerns, and one of them came out publicly against this yesterday. So I guess my question to that ticket is, why are you against opening up access to students via a petition system such as Nicole suggested?
Awesome. So I don't think we're against the petition system. I think that we're...
Michael, I thought it was just 30 seconds. Thank you.
We're not against the petition system. What we said was, we are in favor of using what we currently have. So if you go up to the 4th floor right now, you will see that outside of the student government office, they have a box. That's a box that they allow for students to put in any concerns that they have. If you walk up there, you will see that there are multiple notes in there, and that they've been in there for 4 or 5 months, and that the current administration is not reading those boxes. So why not use what we currently have instead of developing a new system? Woo!
Thanks. So,
Go ahead.
awesome, thank you. So, just to point out again, you've now flipped on this, because last night your running mate told us you were against this. And he absolutely said that, we can go back, Carson recorded it, we can go back and listen to it if you don't believe me, but he said that. And I agree with you, we need to do a better job responding to concerns, but to be honest with you, having a box up on the 4th floor isn't the answer to any problem on this campus. Let's open it up so students can get solutions they need anywhere they are, whether they're on campus, whether they're home, and when that home is thousands of miles away, they should be able to do it online via a petition system that would allow them to have access to their student government.
The rest of these will give you plenty of opportunity to clarify. Nicole, we'll go back to you since we have some problems. As president, you'll be one of the main connections between Dr. Genshap, the university administration, including trustees, potentially state and local Congress people, student body, all kinds of different voices. So what makes you the best candidate to handle this responsibility?
That is a good question. I feel as though I am able to, you guys may disagree, articulate my thoughts fairly well. I also feel as though I have some interesting experience that is common to many USF students. I study a few different fields, and so I get a few different perspectives, and I'm also active with a variety of different organizations and interact with a lot of different kinds of people, and I feel like all of this gives me a more rounded experience and perspective that is perhaps more representative of the average student's opinions. And I am really in favor of the student as opposed to the student government, And I feel that this is why I would be a good representative of the students in general.
So peel the onion back a little bit for me. What experiences have you had in your life where you've had to advocate so a potential person in front of you that has all the perceived power and authority and kind of everything in front of you? How do you then say, from my perspective as a student, I disagree with you or something like that? Have you had an experience like that in the past? And what was that like?
So are you asking me if I've ever disobeyed authority?
No, it's much more in terms of the communication style. So as you becoming the single voice for 47,000, how do you go about doing that? If you're at a table and you've got folks that have represented a different opinion and you have to voice yours. So what experiences do you have with that?
Well, I have not been in a position of power per se to really say the kind of experience that I've had from a presidential standpoint. However, I know that I have communicated with many people who are given respect in my life, and I disagree with them. And I generally do so in the general format of, with all due respect, I disagree because, and then I provide a bullet-pointed list, along with explanations and a conclusion.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Repeating the first part of the question?
Yeah, so as president, you'll be, again, the main connection between the university administration like Dr. Henshaft, university trustees, local state officials like Congress people, student body. What makes you the best candidate to do this responsibility?
And honestly, I think that this is a responsibility that a lot of people don't even realize. Not only when you're voting for president or vice president, when you're running to be it, I didn't realize how much of a representative of the students I would need to be serving as student body vice president. And I think that experience has really prepared me well. I've sat in the room with Dr. Henshaft and had to disagree with her on how we were going to implement things like reading days. I've sat in the room and defended A&S budget to Dr. Henshaft. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's that experience that makes me best equipped. I think it's the fact that my experiences on this campus come from outside student government. I served as a green and gold guide for 3 years representing our university. I served as an ambassador for the last year representing our university and making sure I know how to adequately explain what is going on in this university and the problems that we face. I think allows me to do an excellent job of advocating, whether it be to administration, whether it be to legislators, or whether it be to fellow students that I'm trying to explain why it is we are going to do certain things on this campus.
Thank you.
So, in a connection to the outside of the university, I think that I can serve the best role because I've worked in so many different offices in this university. I've worked in orientation, I've worked in youth student connections, I've served with you, CJ, I've worked in Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life, in student government, in the CLCE, and because of all of those experiences, everybody higher up knows who I am. They know who I am, they like working with me, and I understand how their offices work. I'm not here to try to push what student government wants to do and just bulldoze my way through and tell them that, this is my way or the highway. That's not how it should work. Realistically, I need to understand what those offices are doing, what the higher administration is doing, and by doing that, I have the ability to explain to them how to change little bits of what they're doing to make it better for all the students. Because without those connections that I already have, we can't get anything done.
Here's a specific question I think might be. One of the biggest tasks taken on by student government is programming the Mr. and Miss USA Scholarship Pageant. What is your personal stance on a move away from Miss America national affiliation and a move towards being a much more academic and philanthropic platform?
Again, I'm so glad you asked that question because I think it points out another a stark difference between myself, mine and Taylor's platform and some of the other platforms because there are other candidates advocating for us to go back to Mr. and Miss America, rather. And the reason that we left in the first place is because they didn't allow every student on this campus to participate. We had a student 3 years ago that had a child that wanted to participate and to be Miss USF, to represent our university. And that's what the whole point of the competition is, to be able to represent your university. And we had to disassociate because they don't allow not only students who have had children, students who have been married or divorced, or maybe a student that just doesn't want to go up on stage in their swimsuit, right? These are realistic reasons for us to say we need to not exclude any student from Mr. and Miss USF because the whole point of the pageant pageant and of the competition is to allow students to represent their university. Just like the president or vice president does, just like the king or queen. And now I think with the changes that we've made and the direction that our wonderful director of programming, Daniel Fox, is taking this year, I think we're in for to have the best Mr. and Miss USF we've ever had, because more students than ever will be able to participate.
So the purpose of Mr. and Mrs. USF is to allow for us to be represented in a bigger area. And that is what Miss USF does. And if Miss USF can't compete in Miss Florida, then that's a disservice to our students. Our students are not being able to qualify for their scholarships because they have to go somewhere else to be in Miss USF. And that's why I believe that Mr. and Mrs. USF needs to be brought back to the Miss America competition. Because without that, this is a show. This is not a scholarship that student government is deciding who the best person in USF is. This is a show, and in order to make it a show, we need to provide the best talent that USF has. And I can tell you that I went to the show 2 years ago when it was affiliated with Miss USF, and I went to the show last year when it wasn't. And when it was affiliated with Miss USF, or Miss America, then it was a great show. It was a fantastic show, an amazing show. And then last year, it was a little bit disappointing. So without that, that's the connection. We can either recruit the top talent, or we can recruit more people.
Okay, so I wasn't expecting this question. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I think that not allowing a woman who doesn't want to participate in a swimsuit pageant is a little sexist. Sorry. And I think that what we all come here to USF to do is to be part of academics. And of course there are other things, but you can go be part of the Miss America competition in some other way. That is fine. I don't really think that that's what our university needs to be promoting. And I think that the Miss USF, Mr. and Miss, what is the technical name of this?
Mr. and Miss USF.
All right, Mr. and Miss USF competition should be open to just as many people as the presidential application was. I, not involved in student government, was able to go to the website out of my own curiosity, and there was every form available. And I think that applications for this pageant should be the same way.
And to be honest, my response is pretty simple. I would love a direct answer to this question. Are you okay with excluding USF students from Mr. and Miss USF for the sake of putting on a show? Are you okay with it?
The purpose of this program is to put on a show. We don't require all students to be able to participate in Battle of the Bands. We don't require all our participants to be able to participate in Woolstock, because that wouldn't be a good show. And the requirement is, we want a good show. That's what student government's money is going towards. That is what this should be about. So if we're providing the best show for our students, that's what we need to do.
The answer is yes. For the sake of the show, it's okay to exclude students. That's what he effectively just said. And I want you to know that if I win president, and if Taylor is my vice president, our administration will never allow excluding students from our events. That was not okay.
I don't think you mentioned anything about my platform, just as I don't think I mentioned anything about his. So I just want this to be respectful to you.
All three of you have mentioned in some way, shape, or form a tradition or feeling like a connected campus or university. And so if you could specifically talk about how you would accomplish that, and then maybe, again, dig in a little bit in terms of detail, that would be helpful for me. Chris, you're up first.
Sure. So I think the biggest issue that we have on campus is that people don't know about our events. They don't know when homecoming is. They don't know when week of welcome is. Unless you walk into the Marshall Student Center, you don't feel the full pride. And that's what our issue is. You should be able to walk into your academic classrooms, because we are all here for academics, and know that it's homecoming week. You should see balloons up in Cooper. You should see different events happening on campus. You should see flyers all around the campus. When you drive down Fowler and Fletcher, you should know that it is USF homecoming. And if you don't, then that's a problem, because that means that some of our students aren't informed about the events that are happening. They're not going to go to these events if they're not informed about these events, and they're paying for these events. So why let students continue to pay for events that they don't know are happening? Because that's the biggest request from our students, is that, oh, I didn't know that this was happening. I didn't know Bullstock was coming up. That's a problem, and that's one thing that we want to fix, to make sure that our students are fully aware of everything that's happening on campus, and that they're prepared for those events as they happen.
Okay, so I have a few different ideas about promoting campus connectedness, one of which is perhaps reducing the number of hours at Bull Market every week that Bulls Radio is playing, and perhaps replacing those few hours with showcases of different organizations' current works. I mean, so for instance, we have plenty of dance organizations. They can all come together, have a dance off in the middle of Bull Market. We have plenty of art organizations. They can come together and maybe even make live art during Bull Market. And I think this could be extended to any kind of organization, really, and everybody would have an opportunity to participate. And then I think that this would give everybody an opportunity to mingle with each other, no matter what side of campus you usually spend your time at. Also, I think that we could do more events similar to the Engineering Expo, but not just engineering and not necessarily oriented so much toward children. And we could have them all over campus for every department, and everybody would be invited to come.
Thank you.
So I think we found an issue where there is a lot of agreement. We do need to do a better job of promoting the great traditions we already have on this campus. But instead of focusing on that, I'd like to focus on something that I think we can build on when it comes to tradition. On this campus, we have a tradition of sustainability. We're ranked as one of the top sustainable universities in this country, and I think that as a young university, we should build upon that legacy and continue to make it better and better and better. And one of the ways we do that is through the Student Green Energy Fund, which year after year, we do a great job of coming up with projects to make this campus better. But what I think it needs more of is student government getting involved in actually helping develop that fund and to make sure that those projects are student-centric. Things like the water bottles in the MSC or across campus where you can just go put up your water bottle and refill it, those are simple things that make a huge difference in student lives. Shareable bikes, those are simple things that make a huge difference in students' lives. So what we want to do is create a student sustainability officer whose sole goal will be to bring those types of initiatives to our university and to work with SGEF to make sure we continue to build upon that legacy of being a sustainable institution, because I think that's a tradition that's a little bit outside the norm that we can be really, really proud of as a university.
So the next question, I believe we'll start off with Mike. And so it seems a consistent concern students have that promises are made during the presidential election and platform process, but then there's uncertainty on whether or not the platform initiatives were actually executed. How do you plan to hold yourself accountable to your platform goals with the student body? Yep.
I'm so glad you asked that question. You're right, we don't do a good enough job of explaining what it is that we're doing here in student government. But what I'm really proud of, and what I know Andy's really proud of, is that every single day we sit in our office and we tick off things on our platform that we promise students because we treat it as a report card. And some of the things that I'm talking about is revamping the student tailgate, a promise from our platform, creating a department of student concerns to open up access to SG, a point from our platform, opening up safety hours to expand them further as a part of our platform, and reading days, all parts of our platform. So to answer your question more directly, the way I'm going to do it is by going off my past experience in treating our platform like a report card, and day after day being focused on the fact that we need to uphold and continue to uphold our promises to students, because as my friend on the other side of the stage said, it's a pact with students, it really is. It is a way for us to make sure we uphold our promise to students for the entire year.
It seems that there's a consistent concern among students that there are promises made during the presidential platform election process, but then there's uncertainty on whether or not the platform initiatives were actually executed. How do you plan to hold yourself personally accountable to your platform goals with the student body?
So I think the biggest thing there is the research and time that Alec and I put into our platform. Everything from our platform has been researched and made sure that it is attainable in that another university has already completed it. Another university president ran on that platform, and they did. If they can do it, we can too. Because we're USF, and we're the best university in the country. If I ran on a platform where I only got 4 things done in a year, that would be embarrassing. I would be embarrassed to do it. We put a lot on our plate, and I plan on getting a lot done. But I can't do that without my team. And my team will be there to support me. My team will be there the entire time to make sure that I'm getting my stuff done so that they will be holding me accountable.
I think it is an interesting question to even be asked, how do I intend to actually follow through on my promises?
Correct.
I intend to follow through on them. I would be happy to sign a contract. I don't really know. And then, I mean, so this contract could contain things like, will complete so-and-so, such and such thing in a certain amount of time. And then the president can be forced to resign if they don't follow through on this, or if there isn't a good reason why not.
Okay.
Said that my platform progress was embarrassing. I think it's very used.
I didn't catch that, but
No, that we said that if I only accomplished 4 platform points, I'd be embarrassed. Is that before?
So I believe the instructions say that anything that you have done, and I don't think that I said anything you've done. I quoted what you just said.
Which is what I've done. No, what I said was the things I've done this year.
there'll be time to clear it, okay? So I'm going to go to the next question. One of the opportunities you would have as student body president is running for a seat on the board of trustees. If elected to the board of trustees, how do you plan to work with the board on furthering your initiatives? Christian.
Sure. So I think the biggest issue there is getting elected to the Board of Trustees. And I can tell you that I've already put in the time and effort to make sure that our University of South Florida Tampa campus gets that seat on the Board of Trustees. Because in this past year, we didn't get that. We couldn't sell to them that we were involved with all 3 campuses, that we cared about all USF goals. And that's something that Alec and I take very seriously. I'm from the St. Pete area. Alec is from the Sarasota Manatee area. So we have that connection to those 2 campuses, and we can make sure that we are elected. Once we're elected, we can fight for our students, because the PAC splits to all 3 campuses. It doesn't make sense to allow an online syllabus bank that not all of our students would be able to access. Because there are plenty of us in this room that are taking an online class that is only offered at St. Pete. And they want to be able to view those syllabus as well. So our platform is universal. So we will get elected to that position, and we will represent all students from all 3 campuses once we do that.
One of the opportunities you would have as student body president is to run for a seat on the board of trustees. If elected to the board of trustees, how do you plan to work with the board on furthering your initiatives?
On
Furthering your initiatives.
Furthering my initiatives. I intend to let the Board of Trustees know why USF is great, why USF has a bunch of motivated students who are able to accomplish whatever we set out to do. I intend to let the Board of Trustees know that we need plenty of funds to do these things.
Okay, thank you.
So the question was if we get elected, not how.
Correct.
Correct. All right, so I think that this is really important, right? Because it is the most important job of student body president to represent the students at the highest governing body for our institution, the Board of Trustees. And for me, the one thing that I've noticed administrators respond to is the strategic plan. It's what we hold ourselves to. It's our 10-year way of saying, these are our promises. The same way we all have campaign platform promises. This is the university's promises to the institution and to the state about what we're going to do. And what I will do is focus the key points on my platform that I know go straight along with the strategic plan. Because that's what they want to hear about, that's what they respond to, and nothing gets to the Board of Trustees unless it is in line with the strategic plan. I'm going to work to make sure that everything we as a student government and we as a student body are doing is in line with that strategic plan so that we're all moving together, university students and administration.
To you as a person in your core. And so we're all kind of established with a set of moral and ethics that we walk around with and values. And so we take those and then we enact upon them. Again, at the beginning, I talked about how I appreciate that of all 3 of you in terms of student leaders and really living what you believe. So how do you connect what your moral and ethical values are? What might those be in terms of helping others and doing things for yourself? And how would that be embodied in your presidency? And what would the legacy be as you leave? Christmas.
I was offered a grant this year, and I was offered about $7,000 to fund my campaign fully so that I could discriminate against other students if I wanted student body president. I said no to that money. That money went somewhere else. I don't really care where it went, but I said no, and I think that shows my morals, my character, and that I could have won this election with $7,000, but instead I took that money out of my own pocket, and I funded this debate I funded this campaign so that I could put our students first, so that our students would be able to elect a fair and representative person, and that I would not be being held to some other organization's standards, so that I could hire all students, whether they're Muslim, Jewish, or any other area. I was offered this grant and I said no, and I think that shows a lot about my character.
You know, we all have our internal morals and ethics and values, and your president's going to be an embodiment of those things you give back to the campus. And so, how will you enact what are those values that you closely hold that people can expect from you in your presidency, and what would the impact be for the university?
So, I believe in fairness, and I believe in the well-being of everyone, and I believe in using logic. Those are my main things. So, I intend to protect diversity on our campus because I do feel like one of the most invaluable experiences that I've had coming here is meeting people who came from all over the world, who have completely different experiences and views, and I think that they all belong here just as much as anybody does. And so I think that we should make it such that if certain organizations or groups of people are documented as trying to commit organized or unorganized acts of discrimination against any group, that those people should not be allowed to continue receiving funding, and they should be made known that they are not allowed to do that here. And, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm told to stop now.
So I think that it starts with anybody who's been in student government over the last couple of years needs to accept blame for the fact that far too often we've opened the oracle to find political gains instead of some type of service that we're actually providing to students. And I think that I want my legacy to be fixing it. I want my legacy to be, we're not going to just condemn it when we see something bad happen. We're actually going to correct it. And we have a wonderful set of advisors in Escada that are there to guide us and to help us move forward. But right now, what we're doing is we're just condemning unethical behavior and allowing it to fester and become a problem instead of actually fixing it. That's one way we can fix it. And it also comes back to hiring practices, which is something that Andy and I have taken a lot of pride in this year, in going the extra mile to make sure we hire ethical people. And while you can never be 100% successful with this, what you do when you make a mistake or when somebody you hire makes a mistake is you actually work to correct those issues. And I think that's the way we change the culture here. But the other thing I'll add to the end of it is this. I wasn't offered prior because I don't think anybody would be dumb enough to offer it to me. They know my reaction would have been. They'd have gotten turned in immediately. Not 2 months later, and not because somebody else turned me in for getting it accepted.
Thank you. So I would like to clarify that when the bribe was offered to me, I did report it to both my supervisor in the Senate, Donna Hassan, who eventually ended up reporting me for, I'm not even sure what. In addition to this bribe, so I did inform Ms. Bribe. I informed Amanda Walla that I was offered this bribe, and that I didn't feel that it was a safe place for me in student government. I did say no, and I think that they were looking for a candidate who could win, and we all met with people to talk about sponsorships, and I said no.
Thank you, Sujit, not only for the time, but also for coming out tonight and hosting this debate and giving us as candidates the opportunity to speak on what it is that we see for the next year here at USF. Thank you to everybody who came out tonight and took the time to listen. Regardless of which side you decided to be on before you entered the room, or if you haven't picked the side yet, I'm glad that you took the time to come out and to be engaged and to be involved, and I hope you take the time to vote because it's so important to be a part of, be one of the people that makes the decisions here on campus. But with that being said, I think that there are some stark differences between the candidates on the stage. And I'm really proud of the fact that Taylor and I have the experience and the relationships built already to be successful with the platform goals that we've set out. We are ambitious, but we are realistic in what it is that we can accomplish over the course of the next year. We're not going to strain the A&S budget with expenses that we know we can't afford, but we are going to put into place new initiatives to tackle problems that are very real here on campus that need to be addressed. Issues like diversity and inclusiveness on campus. Issues like wellness. And yes, issues like creating traditions like sustainability here on campus, which will enhance the experience for every single USF Bowl. So again, thank you so much for coming out. I'm really excited to have been here and to have the chance to share my ideas with you. And thanks to the other candidates for what was at times a contentious debate, but certainly a very entertaining one.
So I as well would like to thank everybody for coming out here. I would like to encourage all of you to vote, no matter who it's for, because I was really surprised to find out last year that only 10% of all students voted. That's crazy. All right, and so thank you guys for being fairly respectful. And I would also like to thank the audience for being very respectful as well. I'm not used to going up in front of groups of people like this, so all of you made me feel very comfortable. Thank you. And also, I'd just like to let everybody know, just a brief run through of our platform again. So we would like to promote campus culture. We want to protect diversity. We want to encourage connectivity among all students. We want to focus on academics, promote the academic experience, focus on what the university is really about. We strongly want to fight corruption, increase visibility, and increase the accountability of all of the people who are employed or volunteer at the campus for the students. And we would like to hopefully resolve the parking problem. Thank you.
So I too would like to thank all of you. Thank all of you for being a part of this election, for being a part of being an informed student, an informed voter. And you know, we said a lot of different things here. All of us have our platforms, all of us have our own ideas. But at the end of the day, this election is not about any of us. This election is about you. This election is about what you want to see from the student body president, what you want to see from our initiatives, what you want to see us accomplish, what you want to see in a student leader who's leading all of you. This election is about you. This election is not about me. This election is not about Alec or any of the other competitors. And I think that's what you need to realize. I want you each to take a look in yourselves, understand what you want from this university, and be ready to vote for the candidate that represents you the best. So I encourage you to check out our platform, to look at us, to meet us, to talk to us after this election, to talk to me after this debate. But at the end of the day, this election is about you. And I encourage all of you to come out and vote, whether you vote for whoever you vote for. I want you to make a pact. That's what me and Alec are running on. This is a promise that we're making to you. But if that's not what you want, vote for another candidate. So, at the end of the day, I'm Chris Griffin, that is Alec Wade, and we're running for student body president and vice president. So let's make a pact.